we've done a few shows on this, but it still feels like we're getting a lot of questions. I think people are kind of coming back into this open water fishing, these types of things kind of at their own speed. Some people were thinking about it back in November when we released the product. Some people were thinking about it in December. People are really coming at it right now and wanting to talk some fishing. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the new product, the new Fish Talk Electronics
Well,
Lithium
let's do
series.
that. Can I do a shout out first?
Yes.
I do need to do a shout out to my wife
Okay.
because without her, this company would not exist.
Yep.
And this is actually our 24th wedding anniversary today. So I've been gone for, I'm pretty sure, 20 or 22 of those anniversaries. The day, whatever. But so yeah, shout out to my wife. So,
Happy anniversary to you and to Jody. And
thank you.
yeah, it's great that she allows you to get out of here. It was kind of funny because we flew out on Valentine's Day to come to Niagara, so both of our wives have to be.
Yeah, I had a romantic dinner with you last night.
Yeah,
So,
that was high class.
yeah, high class. So, anyways, yeah. So let's talk about. Should we talk about the lithium series? Let's
Yes,
do
let's
that.
talk about the lithium
Okay.
series.
Yeah, it's you mentioned that we're still getting the questions and we feel like we've answered them. I think a big part of that is the X4 series. It's been since 2009 when we introduced that, so it's been a long time. So people were obviously very, very familiar with that product. Where obviously anytime you do something new, there's some more training that has to happen with that. The good thing is, and the super simple answer is they're all compatible, and that's, I think, the number one question. So for any customers out there that have the X4 system, yes, the new probe works with your existing system, just like the new display works with your system, the new transducer, the power cord. All the pieces are interchangeable. So there's nothing, you can kind of do this. However, if you think that this is the year that maybe you want to upgrade, you can do that all at once, or you can do it one piece at a time because everything is compatible. So that's by far and away the number one, asked question. The probe itself is the piece that right away when you look at this, that this is different, right? It's 40% smaller than the original one, and that obviously catches your eye right away. Beyond the size and the positive impact that has with less blowback, goes through the water truer, meaning it doesn't wobble. It goes through the water very, very straight. Doesn't cause any extra drag on your cable. Beyond those really obvious things, people ask, why would I upgrade? And it's just a performance difference. Taking the maintenance out of it, of having to change batteries, doing that, it just makes it very, very easy to not have to think about those things. And it wasn't like a big deal with the X4 probes, but it was definitely something that if you ignored your batteries, eventually that was going to catch up to you. So you're going to get corrosion in there. You're going to, it's going to create some kind of a maintenance issue. And they, we designed it, you could replace those things, whatever, but this just eliminates that.
Yeah, completely sealed system. Something that we were saying for years to people is make sure you unscrew your probe when you're done fishing.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to worry about that
Right.
with this. Of course, the question that everybody asks when we talk about a full lithium battery is how many charges can I get, and how long does it last in a charge?
Yeah, so as far as how many charges, it's thousands of cycles before the battery starts to degrade at all. And even if the battery does degrade, you're probably not going to know the difference as an angler. So, the same batteries, the same battery technology that we all have in our cell phones, that has trickled down now into things like fishhawk probes, right? So this is not new technology. This is something that's well proven out, and so you've got thousands of cycles, thousands of charging cycles, and in addition to that, you've got extremely long battery life. A gentleman just stopped by as we were getting ready to go on. And he asked about cold water. How long does it last in cold water? Answer is a long, long time. So our initial design goal was to provide a weekend's worth of fishing on a single charge, and we've far exceeded that. So we're hearing, we've seen as many, more than 70 hours We've seen 50 hours, and when we say 70 or 50, that's continuous fishing time. That's the probe in the water for 70 hours. And as we kind of explained to that gentleman a few minutes ago, we would rather under promise and over deliver on that than the other way around. So charge life is, as far as runtime goes, you're really just, that's not going to be an issue. And that being said, too, as far as charging time goes, from an absolute dead battery, you're going to charge it for about 2 hours and you'll be at full strength. But even if you would, for some reason, run out of juice out in the lake, you can drop it on the charger for 20 minutes, and that's going to get you at least the end of the day, and probably the rest of the weekend. So it's pretty efficient in the power department.
Yeah, and so we've got 3 different models of the Lithium series, and kind of walk the audience through how those align with our old model.
Yeah, I'll so I got the displays out here. So with, as far as comparing them to the X4 series or the X2, so we've got 3 models. There's the multi, and there's the pro, and there's the ultra. And the multi, it's called the multi because we really designed it for multi-species boats. So maybe it's like the one next to us that nobody can see here, but it's the boat that maybe I'm walleye fishing on Lake Erie in the spring and I'm jigging or something, and I don't need to have my fish hawk or my trolling gear on. That multi-system is easily removed from the boat, and that system is available with 2 transducer options. So you can either get it with the slip deucer, which is the one that you can put on like on any line, really. So it could be a downrigger cable, or it could be just a short rod and reel with a weight to get your probe down. It's available with either the slip deucer, or we also made it available with a transom mount transducer now.
That's a new thing.
That's a new thing for this year, is the transom mount option, because people were doing that anyways. People were, we would see it, they would order an X2 and then they would also order a transducer. Well, it's like, you don't need 2 transducers necessarily. So we give people the option now to order that, with the transducer of their choice. So that's the multi. The big difference in the multi, as far as the data goes, the information, is the display itself. So the multi uses, that's a 3.5-inch display, so 3.5-inch diagonal display, versus the pro and the ultras have the 5.5-inch display. So it's a bigger display in the other models, but the multi, it gives you just the 2 readouts. So it's just giving you your probe information. It's giving you probe temp and probe speed. That's what the multi gives you as far as information goes. Whereas the pro is going to be really more like the X4 was. So you're getting your surface temp, surface speed, probe temp, probe speed, and the ultra would be the kin to the X4D or the Bluetooth, which gives you surface temp, surface speed, down temp, down speed, and the probe depth. That's the extra piece of information that you get out of the ultra, and the ultra is also the one that has the Bluetooth functionality. So that's the difference between the 3.
So if you want to get that data on your Humminbird, or you want to get that data on your Canon Optimum downriggers, or
yes,
I know there's some guys that may just have it, put it on their phone or what have you, just to get it around somewhere. So let's talk about the display. You alluded to it a little bit, but it is a larger and an upgraded display that you're going to get with the new
So the display does the same thing. So the X4 display, the X4D display, it really looks the same as far as the digits and everything else. The LCD inside is the same display. It's just we really upgraded the case. So it's got a glass face on it. It's actually very similar to the original X2 display or the multi display. So we went to a keypad versus the membrane switch. The keypads are much more reliable over time, much more durable that way. That was something that we wanted to eliminate. It has the glass face. They have a glass face on it, so it's going to be impervious to things like bug spray and sunscreen and scratching. And if you're a cut bait fisherman and you happen to get some herring oil on the screen, it's easy to wipe that off and it comes off perfectly clean. Also, it looks a lot better with your other electronics. So it's going to look more in line with your Garmin or your Humminbird or your Simrad or Lowrance or Ray or whatever brand you have, it looks like another piece of electronics. So if you're putting together a helm and you want to just maintain that aesthetic, it does a better job of that. And that's important to some people, not as important to others. But then I would say the biggest thing is the glass doesn't scratch, so that's going to wear well over time. And it also lets us do an IP rating as far as our waterproofing, dustproofing, all that kind of stuff. So we could, just a more weather durable display as well. So
yeah, so you talk about durability there with the display, but there's something else, durability with the probe as well. I think that people will like with just how you change that up a little bit and redesign that.
Yeah, that's the maintenance part of it. I mean, it's you're never inside the probe. I mean, you're never worrying about an O-ring, or you're never worrying about a cap, or you're never worrying about a battery pack. I mean, all those things are gone, and it's still best practice. Like when you're trailering your boat, it's still best practice to take your downrigger off the, or excuse me, to take your probe off the downrigger, not the other way around, right?
Yeah.
So it's still best practice to take your probe off of the downrigger cable. But we actually, like, all the testers, the 35 folks that we had out testing for us last summer, we actually encouraged them to leave it on. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how we can break these things or whatever, because we see it. I mean, it's, we go to any harbor along the Great Lakes. I mean, we see the fish hawk probes, hanging on the downriggers, and like I say, best practice not to do that, but we know it happens. So that was all part of this design. Is it's like, okay, this is how people are using them. How can we address that? So
the temperature sensor, though.
I'm sorry. You were talking about temp. Yeah, the temp sensors actually come out the back.
Yeah.
So that was something. The X4 probes, the old 840 probes, all that stuff came out the front. So what would happen sometimes, especially boats that have swim platforms, guys would raise it up. If you have booms that pick up, like you did on the Big John downriggers, some Scotties have that, where you've got the booms that pick up, or even on a Canon, like a retro ease type setup. If you, crack the probe into a swim platform or something, you could, it's possible to damage those thermistors. So we did that. Yeah, we stuck those out the back now. So, we don't have to worry about those, really hitting. So.
Well, we've got a few minutes here before we're going to bring on Captain Dan Keating. Anything else you wanted to bring up before we go to Captain Dan?
What did I miss? Anything?
I think we really hit everything when it comes to the product. I think the big thing, though, to talk about is this product, and we alluded to a little bit how things work together, but, it's the same transducer. So it's the same cable. So if you're going to add this to your boat, you don't have to run any new cable. The power cable is the exact same as well.
Right.
So it really would be, if you wanted to upgrade the whole system, pretty much plug and play.
It's plug and
you
play,
already
yeah.
have it set up in your boat. So you don't have to go through a whole bunch of hoops and run new cables and wires and everything. It's all the same stuff.
Yeah, that's annoying to me too. Like when I re-rig electronics, I don't like to rerun transducers and all that kind of stuff. And I know every other company in the world makes you do that, but I tried to avoid that, and I think people appreciate it.